for being with him for so many years, it's amazing to see a kid from a man to a grown man.
As they were going to announce this fight initially, DV allegations dropped. Tank was arrested and it was once again put in doubt.
Before the fight was canceled on Monday after a civil lawsuit filed by ex-girlfriend Courtney Rozelle accused Davis of battery and aggravated battery.
They were preparing to announce the fight when the domestic violence allegations suddenly dropped. Then Tank was arrested, throwing everything back into uncertainty. What was supposed to be a straightforward reveal turned into a whirlwind of doubt, delays, and speculation, leaving fans unsure whether the matchup would ever be confirmed.
Journey's crazy. That's why I said this, yo, you can't write this, man. You cannot write this. My experience being gone, and all the stuff that I went through, preparing me for where I'm at, Journey. You know, man, Tank is older. He had the lessons, getting his lessons of what he got to do, take us the rest of the way. And this is his take us the rest of the way.
Calvin Ford breaks down and tears on live after hearing about Gervonta Davis's arrest. He reflects on their long, difficult journey together, from surviving the streets to rising toward championship glory, and says he watched Tank grow into a man. Ford's voice trembles as he admits how painful it is to see everything they built begin to fall apart. The emotions overwhelm him, and he pauses repeatedly, trying to gather himself. In that moment, he realizes their once unstoppable path filled with promise, pride, and hard-earned victories now feels as though it has reached a heartbreaking and uncertain end.
Roach rematch never happened. The Paul camps still thought Tank is a big enough name regardless of his previous result to go ahead with this bout. But just as they were going to announce this fight initially, DV allegations dropped. Tank was arrested and it was once again put in doubt. Then the charges were dropped. A week later, they announced the event. So that kind of brings us to today. This event hasn't been smooth sailing so far, and it was almost destined that there would end up being a few more bumps in the road before we actually saw the two facing off. And about as big of a bump as you could really get has now hit the promotion. A civil suit has been filed against Tank, in which his ex-girlfriend accuses him of aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. While it was also reported by ESPN that a report has been filed additionally with the Miami Gardens Police Department last Tuesday. However, as I'm recording this, there's yet to be any criminal charges. Now, these alleged incidents happened last month, which was after the announcement of the fight. You would think if you're Tank on the verge of the biggest payday he's ever gotten, he would be doing anything to stay out of trouble, yet he continues to find himself in negative situations again and again. But in saying all of this, everything at the moment is very much alleged, and I'm not really here to talk about the validity of these claims. What I am here to talk about though is the impact this might have on the boxing event in a couple weeks time. Now, Tank vs Paul, love or hate the idea of it, was destined to be one of the most viewed fights of the year. Although there are rumors of there being poor ticket sales, the at-home audience that was going to watch this...
Gervonta Davis has repeatedly found himself at the center of controversy throughout his career, drawing as much attention outside the ring as he does within it. Earlier this year, he faced allegations from the mother of his children, who accused him of mistreatment, although the case was ultimately dropped. Not long after, another woman filed a separate lawsuit against him, further intensifying public scrutiny and adding another layer of controversy to an already challenging situation. Even though the initial case was dismissed, the back-to-back legal issues have significantly affected his public image, prompting widespread discussion across social media and sports commentary platforms. Observers note that personal issues rarely remain private for high-profile athletes, and Davis is no exception. Exceptional skill or success in the ring does not shield any fighter from criticism, legal complications, or media attention. In fact, personal controversies can quickly overshadow athletic accomplishments, shaping public perception and influencing career opportunities. Fans, analysts, and the boxing community often evaluate fighters not only on their performance but also on their behavior outside the ring, making every decision subject to scrutiny. For Davis, these events highlight how achievements alone cannot protect an athlete from the consequences of legal and public exposure. emphasizing the difficulties of maintaining both personal and professional integrity.
Jake Paul didn't work out. Just what were your thoughts on that whole thing?
Man, I really don't want to even have much to say about that because everybody will take it the bad way. But all I'm going to say is this. Jake Paul knew what it was when he first signed the fight. This ain't the first time he had battered against a woman. You knew what it was when you first signed the fight. So don't get mad and cuss him out and talk bad about him now. You knew what it was when you signed up for it. Come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Let's not do that. I don't talk bad about him either, but don't do the dude like that. No, the dude having a hard time in his life right now. Don't just do him like that, you know what I mean? Because you knew exactly what he was when you signed him to fight the first time. All I gotta say.
Tank's team has kind of been bringing that, like, talking about just some of Jake's past, and more kind of said that Jake said he's actually afraid to fight Tank. I mean, do you think it leaned a little more on that side, and they're just selling it the other way?
I already know what it is. Like I said, I already know. I'll get into it, but we all know when young guys go through issues. That's just life.
Roy Jones JRB noted that Gervonta Davis has been dealing with personal difficulties for quite some time, and the latest lawsuit only adds to the weight on his shoulders. He explained that the timing of these issues, coinciding with the planned fight against Jake Paul, has created an unusually stressful moment for the young champion. Jones added that the boxing world was already aware of Davis's past problems, making the situation unsurprising yet still significant. With the fight canceled, Davis now faces intensified personal struggles, public scrutiny, and the disappointment of missing a major career opportunity.
Was on Aiden Ross, and he shared a story about Jake Paul, about Gervonta, and he said, look, Aiden, it was 4:15 in the morning. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. Gervonta Davis was sober. He got sober into a car and drove out there at that hour to do this. This guy is extra bad. Let me repeat that. Let me repeat that. Jake Paul said that Gervonta Davis left his house sober and went to Tootsie's nightclub sober. I just want you to put your common sense hat on. How in the world would he know that? Does Jake Paul talk to Gervonta Davis? Did Gervonta Davis tell Jake Paul I was sober when I left the house? Did Jake Paul have a camera in Gervonta Davis's car? Did he have a breathalyzer in Gervonta Davis's car? Did Jake Paul get toxicology reports from 3 days ago from Gervonta Davis? I am just curious as to how in the world Jake could possibly know that Gervonta Davis was sober. Let me tell you for sure, I will have a drink now and then. If I take a couple shots of vodka and I walk out the house, I'm a little buzzed. Sometimes my wife doesn't even know. How do you know, Jake? The answer is you do not. You are just trying to add something to the story to make Gervonta look worse. It wasn't enough that Gervonta Davis was accused of doing something.
Jake Paul recently shared his perspective on the situation involving Gervonta Davis, offering his own account of what took place. According to Paul, Davis was completely sober and fully aware of his actions during the incident, suggesting that there was no attempt to avoid responsibility by claiming intoxication or confusion. Paul's remarks portray Davis as conscious, accountable, and in control, while also hinting at the immense pressure the fighter faces behind the scenes. By choosing to speak publicly, Paul appears to give fans and observers a glimpse into Davis's state of mind at the time, framing the situation from his own viewpoint. However, it is important to note that Paul's statements are anecdotal and not supported by legal documentation. While his comments may stir speculation or deepen public debate, they also highlight the intense level of scrutiny directed at high-profile athletes like Davis, whose every action is dissected and shared across media platforms. Ultimately, Paul's commentary underscores the ongoing tension between personal challenges, public narratives, and the complex world of professional boxing, where perception can shape reality just as strongly as facts.
There becomes a love and hate with this sport, you know, when you're in it, right?
I think fighters have always loved this sport, itself. It's the bullshit that comes with it behind the scenes, you know, dishonesty and shit like that. This should get on my nerve.
Yeah.
Not saying that's what Tank's situation is, just the sport period. I'm speaking on the sport, man. If people would be honest and jokers really take fights like they said they would, but behind the scene they not taking the fight, but on social media they won't take the fight. It's a bunch of bullshit, man. You know?
Mm-hmm.
That's the shit that I don't like about the sport. And the promoters need to come together, man, and let the guys fight. Problem is, you need a fighter to carry each promotional company. The promotional company don't want to put their man in there with no real fighters because their company gonna flop. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they won't let. That's why the big fights ain't happening. If fighters can take a loss and still keep on taking that, all this new generation shit is crazy. I've seen guys with 10 losses when.
Coach Kenny offered an in-depth perspective on Gervonta Davis's career, highlighting the inevitable challenges that come with reaching the top of professional boxing. He explained that every elite fighter faces intense pressure, scrutiny, and obstacles both inside and outside the ring. According to Kenny, these struggles are not signs of failure, but natural components of the journey for athletes who compete at the highest level. He emphasized that temporary setbacks, whether legal issues, public controversies, or personal hurdles, do not erase the years of training, discipline, and commitment Davis has invested. Kenny noted that the path to peak performance is rarely smooth. It is shaped equally by victories, hardships, and moments that test an athlete's resolve. He reminded fans and critics alike that adversity often serves as a measure of character, requiring resilience, focus, and mental strength to overcome. While these challenges may disrupt momentum or influence public perception, they do not diminish the foundational skill and effort that brought Davis to prominence. In Davis's case, Kenny's reflection suggests that perseverance, a strong work ethic, and unwavering determination remain central to his journey, regardless of the obstacles he currently faces.
You know, I don't know if it's true what they said. I just know that they were saying he was showing up late to promo shoots and he was, you know, just being a diva, just being a difficult person to work with. And the thing I always tell anybody, and I don't care what age you are, whenever you're working with somebody, when you're on a set, you know, when you're in a corporation, whatever it is, the thing that will keep money in your pocket and always keep you working is when those individuals say, that person is a pleasure to work with. When they say you're a pleasure to work with, I promise you, you will always get phone calls. That's why I walk in the room. It's just my nature anyway, because, you know, just the way my anxiety's set up, I need to know who's who. So I speak to everybody. I look in everybody's eyes. I'm really observing to make sure I don't see anything bulging in any places where there might be pistols or anything else. But I'm saying hi to everyone. I speak to everybody in the room. I speak to everybody when I leave. I'm polite because I used to sell crack and work at Taco Bell, and I understand how much of a blessing it is to be in these positions. There's no way that I'm going to be, you know, getting tens of millions of dollars like Gervonta Davis is and be acting like a diva. And I'm not saying he was, I'm just saying if the rumors are true. You know what I mean? If the rumors are true, because that's what I was told. And, you know, I heard they were just looking for a reason to part ways. So,
I mean, that's a good reason. I think he has a good point too. It's just like, you know, he built his platform a lot, or Jake, on female fighters.
Absolutely.
So maybe he should support Gervonta because he supports the beating of women.
Yeah, but not by other genders.
Also, I got it.
And also, too, maybe Tank isn't used to
Nobody has paid people more money to beat.
Following the legal complications, Jake Paul officially canceled the exhibition match against Gervonta Davis. In his letter, Paul stated that Davis seemed disinterested in the event, showing clear frustration and a lack of focus during preparations. He described visible tantrums and minimal engagement, suggesting that Davis was not mentally invested in the fight. The cancellation underscored how the ongoing lawsuit had begun affecting Davis's professional commitments, proving that personal issues can directly impact major career opportunities. Observers note that this situation highlights the delicate balance athletes must maintain between personal challenges and professional responsibilities, as distractions can quickly cost them high-profile opportunities.